Hey, Sid, how you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. It's been a bit of a surprising week due to certain events, but we shall get into them now. Let's share the screen here. If you had told me, although I remember, I don't think we even discussed this series before it even started. But yeah, I didn't expect Afghanistan to win the series so easily. The first two matches, I know there's one more, but the way SA is playing, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3-0 to Afghanistan. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's a cold Saturday in Durban today. Yeah, it's it's
Yes.
it's it's kind of indoor weather today, so not much you can do. Yeah, but I mean, getting back to the series, I mean, if I look at the squads that was sent
Mm-hmm.
to the UAE to play this series, a lot of senior players were missing.
Okay.
Um, but that shouldn't be as an excuse at
Yeah.
the end of the day. Look, it's not good to lose. It's not good to
Yeah.
lose, but I don't think we should press the panic button just yet because what this two games have showed me is
Mm-hmm.
how amazing Afghanistan are in their home conditions. And let's
Mm.
be fair, they play all the games in the UAE and especially in Sharjah. So they are masters of those conditions. And the SA players were found wanting yesterday with the
Mm.
spinning ball. And when we know
Mm.
Rashid is world class. We know that. I mean,
Yeah.
we see him every
Yeah.
year in
Yeah.
franchise cricket. We see him in
Mm.
tournaments. I mean, this
Yeah.
Afghanistan team is improving
Oh, sorry,
day
Avish,
by
I couldn't
day,
hear you
month
there.
by month, week by week.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I really think Afghanistan is one of the best teams in Asia at the moment, alongside India.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's no surprises that they
Uh-huh.
won the series. But what has
Uh-huh.
surprised me is the way they won it. In a way,
Mm.
I feel
Mm.
there hasn't been
Mm.
much fight from SA with the bat in both the
Yeah.
games, and it was quite a it was a poor performance all around in the field with the ball. Uh,
Mm.
and then obviously with the bat was a good start there with Desozi and Bavuma, but after
Yeah.
that the cards started falling down and they fell like a deck of cards. But I think
Mm.
the coaching
Mm.
staff are looking at the series as well, and having a look at players which they believe, and let's be honest, the goal is the 2027, the next 50 over World Cup.
Mm.
That is the real goal here. And I look at this performance. I'm not sure how many players have really put their hand up and uh, you know want to be part of that squad in 2027. But look, there is a lot of other players that are knocking on the door as well. So I think the Ireland series is gonna give us a uh, better idea as to where these players are, because I think
Mm.
that Ireland series becomes vital now to get those performances in, because I mean this series hasn't gone according to plan.
Yeah.
And Afghanistan are one of the best sides in Asia at the moment, like I just said. So
Yeah.
they cannot be taken lightly, and they cannot be taken lightly in tournaments as well. So this was a really brutal kind of learning curve for this squad. Hey,
Yeah. But so you're predicting Afghanistan to win this series 3-0 then?
2-1 looks a better kind of result,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I hope tomorrow. I mean, they really don't have much to play for now except for their pride, and
Yeah.
I hope that
Mm.
that like cheers them on. But I mean, Afghanistan are really on a roll at the moment. Hey, they're really on a roll, and they're gonna be hard to stop. But if SA tomorrow and the series ending 2-1 doesn't look like a bad kind of result in a way,
Mm.
I would say, because as I said, it's too early to press the
Yeah.
panic
Yeah.
button. Should be and
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what fans have been saying about this, because to be honest with you, I mean, there's so many players, especially in that bowling group, that's missing.
Mm. Mm.
People do when when team loses and loses in this way. But I think it's too early to press a panic button. I think if you don't get a response in the Ireland series, then yeah, there is going to be cause for concern. But I mean, you literally playing Afghanistan in their backyard, and as I said, they're one of the best teams in Asia at the moment, alongside India. So you're going to get performances like this when you're trying to blood youngsters. But the only concern for me, Sid, and I'll bring this up, is some of the senior players haven't stepped up in the last two games. The likes of Riza Hendricks, the likes of Markram. And I look at these performances and I think that none of these places should be secure until they get back into their form, because you cannot be carrying people for the sake of it, for the sake of experience. You're only as good as your last game. And I think it's very important for these guys to hit form soon, or simply you've got to look at other options as well. I mean, you cannot be carrying passengers. You cannot be carrying passengers in this team. You have to look at ways where you can get players in that can give you those kind of results. And Stubbs has it tough so far, but he's a gun player, and I think he's someone that you got to invest in. Today was promising, so they to work with there. But Markram and Riza, a real cause for concern there, being senior players as well.
Okay, all right. We'll get to England and Australia. As you can see, I haven't shared the screen quickly. What were your thoughts, man? Australia beating England by 7 wickets with 6 overs to spare. That's pretty much brutal, man.
This was a real spanking. I didn't expect Australia to get it done this easy, but we did say it was going to be quite a competitive series. But I mean, what an innings from ahead. I mean, he's really in top form at the moment, and he's hitting the ball. He's seeing the ball like a beach ball. That was an absolute that was an amazing knock from him, and ably supported by Laviskakni. But if I look at that pitch was a real belter, and I think England are a little bit disappointed because I think that pitch was like kind of a 350. So they kind of fell short there in a way, and they were looking good at one stage, but I mean they lost a whole flurry of wickets that slowed down the momentum. So 315. I mean 315 is still a tough score to chase in ODIs, but the way Australia were relatives was quite something, eh? And you get these performances from him. I mean, he's an absolute freak on his day, and I think he's a guy that you got to get out early, because he can really punish you when he's settled in. And I mean, if my memory serves me correct, these were the two guys that took Australia home in that World Cup final in November. That's the one that Indian fans would want to forget. But I mean, he is an amazing ball striker. I mean, 24s and 5/6s. But if I look at this England bowling attack as well, really kind of inexperienced in a way, eh? Not much experience in terms of bowling. Okay, you've got Jofra Archer there, but I mean, apart from Archer and Rashid, there's not much experience there. So I think that also played into the hands of the Australians as well. There's some really expensive figures there as well.
Yeah, man, it's pretty much a funeral when you look at it. Although, if you look at the second ODI quickly, it looks like England are kind of in the game in this one. So hopefully England equal the series, eh?
Yeah, it's looking a lot better today. Hey, 158 for 5. If they can restrict Australia to, I'd say anything under 300, they would fancy their chances, eh? So I mean, you've got okay, so you into the lower order at the moment, middle lower order. Alex Carey and Maxwell. I mean, Maxwell is dangerous on his day, but I mean, he can also give you chances as well. So I think they'll be looking at this partnership as probably the last recognized pair, and then you into the bowlers. So I'm expecting England to bounce back today, sir. That's my prediction.
Yeah, likewise. It's good for the series if that actually happens. So we'll go to the next segment, which is this one here. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this? India and Bangladesh. India look like they'll win tomorrow on day 4, if I'm correct. Yeah, it is. So what's your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bangladesh had their chances, especially
Hmm.
on day one. It
Hmm.
slipped. I mean, and then I mean, what an innings from Ashwin
Hmm.
and Jadu. That partnership really took the game
Jadeja.
away from
Yes.
Bangladesh in that final innings.
Hmm.
Fantastic knock from Ashwin, hey. And we know he's got capabilities with a
Yes.
bat. And then that bowling
Yeah.
performance from India in that first innings, I think that's really set up this game for them. Bumrah was amazing, and he really broke the back of that Bangladesh middle order. And I mean, if you're gonna have a deficit like that in the first innings, there's not many times that you're
Yeah.
actually gonna win. But before
Yeah.
the series, I did say India will win, and they'll win quite comfortably. And weather
Yeah.
permitting,
And then,
they should
yeah.
win this game. But
Hmm.
happy with the fight that Bangladesh have been showing in the second innings. 158 for 4. At least they didn't kind of throw in the
Yeah.
towel and collapse like they did in that first innings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, return to form for Rishabh Pant as well. It's a brilliant 100, and Gill as well, getting in the amongst the runs there. So
Oh, yeah.
far,
You're
a
right.
thoroughly
Yeah.
dominant performance from
Hmm.
India so far, and expect them to get the job done tomorrow.
Yeah, I must try and yeah, I'll watch the highlights and catch up for India and Bangladesh. And then the same would apply to the other match. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Okay, we'll look to the look at the last segment, and then yeah, that's pretty much done and dusted, I guess. Okay, 202 runs, Sri Lanka leading by with how many days remaining? Day 4 and 5. Whew, this is interesting, man. This could actually go either way, depending on how well New Zealand actually bowl tomorrow.
This is turning out to be an amazing test match. To be honest with you, with all the games that we've reviewed so far, I think this
Yeah.
match is kind of the most interesting. I mean,
Hmm.
305 playing 340, and then Sri
Hmm.
Lanka batting really well in that second innings, 237. But yeah, I think I think if Sri Lanka can get anything close to 300, so it's going to be difficult for New Zealand batting last on that pitch in Gul, and we know Gul takes a lot of turn, and
Hmm. Hmm.
Sri Lanka have the bowlers to cause them problems. I think Jayasuriya bowled really well in that first innings.
Hmm. Oh, hello. Are you there?
I think if it wasn't for that cameo from fallen short of that first innings total, but I mean they did get a lead, which is quite crucial.
Hmm.
But some good knocks from Sri Lanka in the second innings. You've got the experienced players there, De Silva and Matthews,
Hmm.
and Karunarantne also made a great also played really well in that second innings.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean that first innings as well. Kamindo Mendes, I mean he's been in really great form. Even in that England
Yeah.
series, there were knocks from him. White ball series against India as well. So Sri Lanka on the right track, eh? I think ever since they played India and won that white ball series, they've been on the right track. And I look at that series in England. They were so unlucky
Hmm.
in certain aspects. They pushed England all the
Hmm.
way
Hmm.
there, and
Hmm.
I felt 2-1 was a, and yeah, I mean they really showing why they're so difficult to beat at home as well. So if they can get anything over 270, 280, close to 300, it's going to be tough for New Zealand to chase it in the fourth innings with the bowling attack that they do have, and they're so used to conditions as well.
Yeah, man, that's true. I concur with
What?
what you're saying, and I wanted to quickly clarify something with you because you mentioned Afghanistan playing most of the games in the UAE, but I thought it was actually in India because India has given Afghanistan their grounds to play on. So I thought it was mostly in India. But either way, I mean, it's good for Afghanistan too. I guess it's good for cricket, but it's a bit. hard to digest as a South African, I guess.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is good for cricket, but yeah, I think there was a test match that was supposed to be scheduled in India between New Zealand and Afghanistan, but I think that was washed out because of torrential rain. But yeah, I mean, you can see, Sid. I mean, the stats don't lie. I mean, they're really comfortable in UAE and in those conditions, and we saw it in the first game with their bowling attack, and we saw it. I think this game was probably a better performance for them because they all round they actually outplayed SA in all departments, the bowling, fielding, and batting as well. So yeah, back to the drawing board for SA. But I think it's time for these fringe players to really put their hand up if they want to be part of this the squads going forward in the 2025 Champions Trophy and obviously leading into the 2027 Cricket World Cup, because I don't think there's too many places up for grabs, because I think the coaching staff know exactly who their core 9 players are. So there's probably about 3 or 4 spots up for grabs. And if I look at a guy like Riza, I honestly think patience is. Honestly, we're losing patience with him at the moment because he's been given a lot of chances. So let's be honest. Ever since that 2023 World Cup in T20 and ODI cricket, but he hasn't really, taken the bull by the horns and put in those performances. He was really poor in that T20 series against the Windies as well. And obviously, Markram, we know we talk about his captaincy, but I don't think you can just come into a team just because of your captaincy. You've got to contribute somehow with either bat or ball. And, he's one of the senior batters in this team. You expect a lot more from him. And he's got to step it up or, I think the coaching staff have got to make some tough decisions here as to, how do they want to go about it? Because sometimes when a player is dropped, he can come back much stronger. And look, I think Markram is one of those very important players come the next World Cup, 2027, because he'll be one of the most experienced players in that squad. So, it's very, very important that he hits form very soon, or there's going to be question marks there, and he's probably got to have a time out and go back and score some runs in the domestic series and come back. So, although it's disappointing to lose, I don't want to press any panic buttons just yet. Because we kind of like over 3 years, before the next World Cup. So I really do think there is time to build a core, but I do hope CSA actually blood a lot more youngsters, because there's a few youngsters knocking on the door, the likes of Rickleton. I was surprised that Matthew Britsker didn't get a chance in the series as well, because if you essentially want to use the series as an experiment to try and test your depth, which is not looking that good at the moment. Let's be honest. Minus those senior players, especially in these kind of conditions, where they've really, really been tested. I would say, give those players an opportunity. What do you have to lose? Nothing much now.
It's not like they can do any worse. Okay, before we wrap off, I'd like to say good luck to South Africa tonight. They're playing against Argentinians for the rugby, and if they win tonight, they'll win the rugby championship. So, what are your thoughts on that, Avish? And our final write-off.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big night for the Bokke. I think if they win tonight, they probably seal that trophy. I expect them to win. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than we think, because the RGs have really, really improved as a rugby nation. And we saw what they did to Australia a few weeks back. They really dismantled Australia in Argentina. But
I didn't watch that. I must look for that.
The score was like 67-27. So that was a real pasting that they got. I expect the Bokke to get it done tonight and obviously clinch that trophy, and they thoroughly deserve it. They've played some superb rugby this year, And another mentioning to the Sharks, they're playing the Lions today in the Currie Cup final.
Okay.
And they've been playing some good rugby as well. So I really do hope the Sharks bring it home today. And they're playing up in Joburg at Ellis Park. So, yeah, go Sharks and go Bokke. Should be an exciting day of cricket.
Okay. Thanks, Avish.
Rugby.
Okay. Thanks, Avish. We shall catch up soon. Oh, by the way, before we wrap off, are you available next week? I think next week will probably be our last chat before I am off overseas.
Yeah, we'll discuss it, but probably we can try and do a show on a Sunday.
Okay. All right. Check you, man.
Okay. Cheers, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care.
You too. Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to.
I'll let you know about